We work with a lot of veterans that come into our clinic, and as we do follow-up care and continuing care with all of our clientele, we're noticing that a lot of the anxiety prescriptions that are handed out to not just veterans, but, as Dr. Bob pointed out, a variety of people, such as battered spouses and people who have lived through violent crimes. Medical marijuana, the beautiful part of it, when you're looking at it, there's a variety of forms that it comes in. I don't want you to sit there and think that all of the patients use it. Most of the ones that come in and want to use medical marijuana to treat and help treat anxiety, a lot of them are actually using gel cap forms. There's a lot of healthier manners to medicate with than just the smoking. When you look around the country, we have soldiers, we have people committing suicide at extremely high rates. And a lot of it boils back to prescription drugs. Medical marijuana is a natural drug, and when created in the correct forms, safely can reduce many of the symptoms that lead up to suicidal situations. 18 veterans a day is pathetic. These people give their lives for us. 18 lives a day, that's horrible. You'll have our written testimony from our center, which will include more studies to coincide with John. We hope that if you have any questions, feel free to contact us. Thank you. I want to explain the R.C. Randall history. Robert Randall was the first medical marijuana patient ever federally. This occurred back in 1976. Robert made it his lifetime mission to then help others have access to medical marijuana. We have submitted testimony, and in that testimony I'm sure you'll see a lot of studies that coincide with John Evans. He basically collected all studies that have been done up until 2001, in which case one of our associates, Patients Out of Time, which is the very first medical marijuana organization, period, in this country, has resources too. So you're also going to be referred to Mary Lynn Mathers. She is the current president of Patients Out of Time. One of the things that we do have coming here in Michigan, and a couple of my associates have mentioned it, but in cannabis, there's different components of it. There's THC, there's THCA, there's CBDs, and there's a variety of CBDs and the things that they do and they cause. And when appropriately administered with people, and actually with tailored care, you can find the strains and genetics that actually reduce anxiety, that relieve stress, that let people actually function. And like Brandy Zink pointed out, a lot of times in pharmaceuticals, it tends to put our patients in a fog. And as we're seeing follow-up care with the patients that we do work with, we're seeing that prescriptions are being reduced. That fog that they typically get from, the pharmaceutical, Risperdal, Depakote, I could continue on and on. As that fog lifts, you actually see the person's personality come forward and you see smiles. I will tell you, one of the best parts of my positions are the patients that I have that we work with on a regular basis, and I see them come to life. I am grateful that we are in a position to not only have the history behind us and the science behind us, but I love that with the lab, for over 3 years now, we actually have data showing the medications. We've been doing studies with farmers, with patients that have documented and are actually backed up by the doctors they've been seeing. One of the other things that I want to point out too is when you look at the veteran population, federally, this is a Schedule I drug. It's horrible. It has no use acceptable whatsoever. Our veterans, most of them financially cannot afford insurance that gets them out to doctors that are not federal doctors. Those patients then have to come to clinics like ours, and like Brandy pointed out, and many others, they have to claim they're there for chronic pain or they're there for another condition. People need to be able to be honest in order to get the best care. How can we move forward as a true medication when clinics and when doctors are forced to call it a different condition. I urge you to go through the studies, and again, if you have questions, please feel free to use our Wellness Center as well as our lab as a resource. We're very, very open-ended for that. Thank you and have a good day.